When you got a theme song, though, come on. It's a theme song. Come on in. I mean, you have a theme song, you gotta use it. Come on in, guys. How are y'all doing? Oh, look at StreamYard with the fade-in. There's a fade-in feature. Okay, how are y'all doing? Hi, everybody. Wow, I haven't streamed in a little bit. I'm so happy to see you guys. There's so much to cover with the YSL trial. Not too much. I just wanted to pop in for a quick power hour, let you know where we are today, and go from there. I can't wait to hang out with you guys for an hour, talk a little bit about this. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, whether you're at work, because a lot of you guys listen to us while you're at work, whether you are just chilling for the day, looking for something to do. That's what we're here for. We're here to edutain, but at the same time, want to make sure that you're informed when it comes to all things YSL. So I'm going to say hi to a few of you guys, but here's what's on the agenda. I don't know. We're trying to work it out. Me and Lead work closely together. You guys know that sometimes our schedules conflict. I do consults, he does consults. Like, we have to find times that work for us to stream correctly. And then in addition, we are thinking about, we don't know yet, we are thinking about possibly covering the Alec Baldwin trial as well. You know, I'll be honest, guys, I look through the lens of a content creator and I'm watching a lot of other people cover it. I don't know. I mean, are you guys going to be interested in it? Or are you going to be like, hell no, AV, no. You better stay on this YS. I need my YSL fix. Where is it? I need my YSL fix. So we want to make sure that you get it, right? So there is, we're a great team. We try to game plan in the morning and see what we're going to do. So here's what I'm going to do. Lead and I yesterday were covering the latest the Brian Steele motion. I have it. You guys know, like, he gets into his stories and we might not be able to get through the whole thing, but I am going to do that for you really quickly here. I want to show you three things. I want to show you Exhibit A, which is the Steele motion. Because we covered a lot of it yesterday, I'm just going to show you the tail end of it. I'm going to show you Exhibit E. Did you know we have the original order where the state was putting their thumb on Little Woody and was just like, Little Woody, you are ordered to testify. I have that for you. And then we're going to look at Exhibit I, which is the emails between Melnick and also between the prosecution team. So this is going to be a quick, dirty version, but I'm going to do it. And you guys know I'm super organized. So if you're watching this on replay, by the time that we run this, you are likely going to have timestamps to go through each of those episodes. Do you guys see why it's so nice over here? And they're like, oh, you use his sound. Does he use the sound? No. We get it done over here. We get it nice, efficient, and clean over here. So this is going to be about an hour. I'm going to try to get through it as fast as possible. And if Lead and I decide to go live later today, you'll get the notification. So you're going to want to make sure that you are subbed over there as well. Before I say hi to you guys, this episode is sponsored. We have sponsors. This episode is sponsored by a company named Aura. What do? Cybersecurity. You hate robocalls, right? I hate them. I cannot stand robocalls, like numbers that I don't know calling me. Oh my God, they stop that. And you get notifications that say, hey, AV and other people, these 14 websites have your intel, your info, and they're using it. Your information has been found on the dark web. It gets dark over there. So check out Aura. If you're interested, you can use it for 14 days free using my code, aura.com/AV7. Link will be in the description box later. We're not even going to waste time. How are y'all been? Let's see who we have. Who is first? Who is first? Who is first? Shout out to Nurse Chels, who is first today. Hi, Nurse Chels. Good to see you. Shout out to Tyree. Haven't seen you in a minute. Real Talk with Retta, one of my faves. She's in here today. Buddha Bell. Hi. Buddha Belly. Buddha Belly. I almost lost the LE there. Shout out to Buddha Belly, cool name. Mike White's in here. Onyx Rose. Kim is in the building. STV is in the building. RTF, one of my faves, says top of the AM. And that's the thing. Some of you guys are on the West Coast, so it's morning where you are. It's afternoon where I am. Shout out to Stone, who says, man, love AV so bad. I love you too. I love you back. Shout out to Olivia, who says, I hit the like button. That's right, guys. I don't go too crazy over here. Just hit the like button. Just hit it. I'm not going to pressure you. There's no extra things. I'm still a tiny creator. In fact, too tiny where people are like, AV, you cannot have consultations. You're too small. Huh? It doesn't matter that you advise on a channel that has 1.7 million every week. It doesn't matter that you advise on another channel with 700,000. You don't know what you're talking about because you have 30,000 subs. Huh? You probably shouldn't offer consultations. You probably shouldn't offer consultations because you just went through law school and help other law students that go through law school plan what their experience is going to be like. You don't help them come up with study plans. You don't help them come up with application plans. You don't care about people succeeding. You're too small to offer consultations. Shout out to the cheap seats in the back. You don't know what you're talking about. So for those that don't know, your girl does offer consultations with so much experience that I haven't had time to grow my own channel. But they don't know those things that are happening on the back end. Who better to learn about the law school experience than, I don't know what you mean, a person that's been through law school? And honestly, on all the things that I do on YouTube, and I did one yesterday, it makes me so happy to help people that want to be attorneys, but like help them understand what law school is like. Because I just finished it, or, have just gone through the process, taking the bar exam now. Man, you guys don't understand. So when I get the love, when y'all are in here, you have no idea what your support means. Because when you see those negative Nancys at 6:30 in the morning and they're like, you're doing a consultation, what's wrong with you? And it's like, what are you talking about? So I needed to get that off my chest because with growth comes hate. It's going to happen. But you can't blame those people either. I'm almost not even mad at them because if they're new, they don't know my story. They're just finding me. But I'm letting y'all know right now. I really enjoy educating people about the law. I love inspiring young women, older women. I like helping creators. And I really enjoy geeking out over this stuff. So if you chose to sub to me, I appreciate that. We may not always disagree or agree. Sorry, agree. I'm focusing on the disagreeers. We may not always agree, but just know, like over here, I take y'all's feedback seriously. I have a whole team dedicating to looking at comments. That includes negative comments and positive comments. But we use that data to make this great. And we cannot wait for what's in store for the rest of the year. I just hired new people on this team. I treat this as a business. So yeah, it does hurt a little bit to see that negativity. But at the same time, all of the positive things, you guys have no idea like how that keeps me going. But also when I can really help people that are about to take the path that I've already took, it is so much easier for somebody to give you a map and they're like, hey, don't go over there. I went there. It's not good on that side. Go this way. I wish I had somebody to tell me that. So can I have you guys do me a favor? For the haters right now, I want y'all to give it a great big what you mean in the chat. Type what you mean emojis, what you mean, hashtag what you mean, however you want to spell it, however you want. Give them a what you mean so they know like this is a place of positivity, and that's what we try to promote in this community, right? Inspiration, positivity, it's positivity only. There will be times where we agree to disagree, and that's okay. I encourage that. But I don't want any negative bashing or any of that stuff in the comments. That's not what this is for. This is about learning about the law in a positive way. So for those people that have on the most successful week of this channel, I'm not even gonna say annoyed. For all of you people that I took notice of throughout the last 7 days, I just want you to know that this has not been an easy journey. Nobody has to do it. Nobody's looking for bread. I just left a job making $180 a year. I do this because I love it. And that's passion all day. And I've been waiting to talk to you specifically, you folks. You're probably banned, and that's cool. But we're taking 5 minutes to talk about that, and now we're going to go in. Like, I'm not going to demonstrate any weakness. I'm not going to hide from these people. We're going to take 5 minutes to talk about that. And now we're going to get into content. Are you guys ready? Are y'all ready? Let's go into a few supers, and then we are going to dive into this document. Shout out to Ollie, the macaw, okay, who became a member himself. Look at this. Look at this. This is how ill Ollie is. Ollie number 1 became a member. Ollie number 2 gave y'all 20 memberships. Okay. And then Ollie gave $100 super chat. We're 12 minutes in. And Ollie is showing you guys, hey, this is what real support looks like. And it doesn't even matter the dollar amount. I can't tell you guys how hard I work in a week. Y'all have no idea. I literally have an exam tonight. I have a practice exam for the bar exam tonight in person. Like people like Ollie, if you just received a membership, you better say thank you. He says, showing support. Also, just please visit my wife's website. Let me know if it's okay to post her link to her candle company. Ollie, yes. Yes. This YouTube is a business, guys. And people that support me, I'll take care of you. So Ollie, yes, post it. And if any of my mods, mods are in the chat, yes, we will take care of you. And on replay, I will find a way to help you guys in the future. Thank you, Ollie. It's very, very nice of you. 20 memberships, became a member, and is supporting the channel. It's not all about that, but it's also like, in our community, guys, there's so many ways where we can collaborate and work together instead of hate on each other and be negative. Are you kidding me? There's so many ways to make this work. So Ollie, thank you. Already 13 minutes in. Let me update it. Ollie is a stream sponsor. And if y'all could type Ollie in the chat, that would be awesome. And you got to tell us what your name means, Ollie the Macaw. We know there's a bird in there. Okay, because Ollie has blessed the stream, I'm going to come back to some of the other supers. So many of you guys are showing love. So many of you guys have become members. So many of you guys have shown your membership tenure here too. I'm so excited to read through all of this, but I don't want to keep you waiting. I just really wanted to start off and talk about the week I had, which was the most successful week on this channel, but also the highest week of negativity too. Anywho, let's get back into it, and I will start sharing my screen and let's go into this document. So here's what we got. We have this Brian Steele document that was filed approximately 48 hours ago. So about 2 days ago on July 8th. Today is an important day in the YSL case. Why? The reason why it's an important day in the YSL case is because this case has been assigned to Judge Cross, and she has given the prosecution an extended deadline. They were given a deadline of Monday, an extended deadline of end of day today to show us what their response is going to be to the original documents that were filed to have Judge Glanville recused from the case. You know, there have been at least 4 attorneys on the defense side that have filed a motion for recusal. Shout out to Brian Steele, who probably has the loudest voice in this because he's representing Young Thug. But the other major thing that you need to think about, I had the honor of having Doug Weinstein on here last week. It was a beautiful intellectual conversation. But what I like to do is one thing a lot of people don't see about criminal defense is you really are representing a person, a client. A lot of people don't know who Yak Gotti is. So if you haven't seen that interview, it's pinned to the top of this channel. We learned a little bit about who Yak Gotti is and how hard they've been fighting to defend, you know, this person. How hard Brian Steele is defending a Young Thug. How hard Sharp is defending his client, right? How hard all of these folks are, you know, they're living their lives in jail. Now, this case seems to lean more team defense, and I understand there were actual killings and murders and things that took place. So on the contrary, let's look at it from the other side. You have individuals or you know, people that the prosecution is protecting, you know, the victims' families. What about Nuts' family? You know, what about the folks that have actually, these crimes have impacted their families? That's really where the prosecution stands. But I don't know if you guys saw me and Lee's stream last night. And we talked to a lawyer in ATL. And she mentioned that DA Love has a habit of doing these ex parte meeting things. Go back and watch it. It's probably the last 30, 40 minutes of the stream. And I was tired, but I just sat there listening and I'm like, wow. This district attorney's office, even before Fonnie Willis's time, I'll give her that, they have a habit of doing certain things. One thing you can learn about people is habit. What do you do every day? What do you do from time to time? Brian Steele was standing on the mountaintops in this document that I'm about to show you. But what's crazy is when I heard that last night from another lawyer that stood up against DA Love in 2018 and won her case in 37 minutes. And she said, do you know she pulled that ex parte thing on me in 2018? Hold on. I love you, Ollie. But look at this. Look at this. What you mean? What you mean? Is that how we're just going to run things in Fulton County? And as a, you know, I'm not a current resident there. Like, I'm back in Boston now. I'm back in Boston right now. But like, for a year of living there, y'all wanted me to vote. You wanted me to participate in all of these things, but you were taking money out of my state or my paycheck. You took state taxes and you took federal taxes. As a taxpayer, you took money out of my pocket to go to a trial like this that's going to cost all of this money. And, you know, Lead had Little Woody up yesterday. I had a consultation at the moment, so I couldn't join in. I knew he was going to come up, you know, for the members on my channel. We knew he was going to come up, put it on my community tab. We planned it. I would have loved to be a part of the conversation. I would have worn this shirt. I wanted to talk to him, but one of the great things that came out of the conversation was you guys really learning more about Little Woody's past and how he came up. And in our community, it's not talked about like that. But he's speaking up on it. Does it make the things that he did okay? No. Does it mean that anybody's siding with him and agreeing that what he did was okay? No. But at the same time, I think it was a big sounding board to show justice is not always right. It's not. You're not always going to get the outcome that you want. And I think for a really long time, a lot of us have known that the system does have some parts of it that are flawed, that don't work. And it's time that we look at that, right? So let's go to this document and let's look at the exhibits, and then I'm going to come to you guys in the chat, talk to you, see where your opinions are. I may drop the link, have a few of you guys come up as well. So let's do this. Let me bring up Brian Steele's document. This is filed yesterday. Okay, and I'll make myself super small so y'all can follow along, and I will also just zoom in a little bit so it takes up the whole screen. So this is a supplemental motion to recuse Judge Glanville. Again, when you see the word supplement, that means the motion has already been filed, but they're just adding a few points or a few things. This is going to be expected for Brian. Why? It would be expected, and apologize guys, I'm opening up Google Docs so that thing comes off of the screen. It's expected because of a few things. Number one, we know that this transcript has come out since Brian has put this document out, right? So since it's come out, we know that the transcript has been released. So of course, they are going to add a few things to it because there's a lot from the transcript that we weren't able to see the first time, right? So we know Brian's adding on, and this was redacted. He was saying that Judge Krause was given $2,000 by Judge Glanville for her campaign. You know, there was some talk about $500 towards Judge Glanville's campaign. Like, did they give each other money? That part has been debunked and is not true. All right. Again, this is a 233-page document. I want to bring us to around page 40. And the reason why I want to do that is a few things. Brian Steele's affidavit is about maybe 60, 70 paragraphs long. Lead and I covered that yesterday, so I'm not going to go too into it. But what you will see with this affidavit is Jeffrey Williams. It says that the defendant, it's a joint affidavit between Brian Steele and Keith Adams. These are Young Thug's lawyers. Young Thug's lawyers are saying, here are all of the points, Judge Krause. You need to make a decision. And her decision's probably going to come out in the next 48 hours, guys. Tomorrow or Friday. Chances are whatever side she's already on has been decided. The only thing we're missing is hearing the side from DA Love and DA Hilton, the prosecution. Their stuff is due today. So the judge has to consider what her decision is going to be. Usually they have their decisions made already, but the issue becomes we need to give the other side a chance to respond. So I'm ruling it right now. We will not get a decision today. So that's why I wanted to do this pre them submitting what they need to submit, because it is likely that we're going to see the prosecution say none of this is true. Because what's going to have to happen, you see how Brian has, and I'll make myself small again. You see how Brian in this document has like section 5, section 6, section 7, and we know he was very aggressive with some of the statements that he made. You bet your ass that DA Love is going to come back with statements rebutting what he said. So, do you guys see how this largely becomes an intellectual war, so to speak? One side says one thing, and if you have to respond, you have to say the other thing. So, on Monday, we already had Brian Steele's initial motion. And Tuesday, let me make sure the days make sense. Tuesday, we got a supplemental response. So it's good that there was an extension because now Fani Willis's DA's office has to respond to the new things that Steele has mentioned. Okay? Now, Steele is angry. He should be. He talked a lot about how local laws were not followed. He talked a lot about how state laws in Georgia were not followed. He even brought up the federal constitution and how federal laws were not followed as far as judicial conduct. He has some rights here because when you're a judge, your role as a judge is almost like playing baseball. You know, some of us have kids, some of us don't. But if you have kids and if you've ever been to a baseball game, and even if you don't have kids, if you've been to a baseball game, you'll understand what we're talking about here. Think about the umpire. When you're playing baseball, the umpire's job right there, he's not in the game, is to call strikes, is to call balls, all of those things. Your job is never to get in the game and play and pick a team. Brian Steele's motion here essentially says that a judge picked a team. Now let's flip it. If you're on the other side, if you're on the prosecution side and you see the judge doing stuff with the defense, you're like, hold on, what are you doing? Why are you over there when you're supposed to be calling how this game is supposed to run? Think about football. A referee throws a flag in when something crazy goes on. A referee's job is to pick up the footage and to see what's going on. It's to look at exactly what happened and call what's going on. Basketball, shout out to the Celtics. Okay, shout out to the Celtics. I'm in Boston right now. I'm just saying, shout out to the Celtics. But when in basketball, you know, the referees are calling fouls. They're looking at things, even if you have to slow down the footage and look at the rules, know the rules, and how to apply them. The same thing applies in the law. And this is so important for minorities, man. It really is. And people are like, oh my God, you're not Black enough, when legit, my family's from Cape Verde. Cape Verde is like yards away from Africa. There's a reason why my hair can naturally do this, but I'm not Black enough. It's okay. But all that being said, there's a reason why this applies to minorities. And I'm not segregating anybody here. You guys know, like, we're all one race. We're all one human race and should never, ever, ever be about race. The reason why I bring it up is because minorities are the most incarcerated group in the United States. So it becomes even more crucial for people to baseline, whether you're in law or not, have a basic understanding of how the law works. That's why I love this work. That's why, I'm sorry, it kind of eats at just a tad bit. It eats at me a smidge that people are like, oh, you're just in it for a cash grab. Who are you talking to? You know, anyway, this mission is so much more than just watching trials from the sidelines. It really is about people understanding how basic law works. And I think little Woody, from what we saw from that ex parte meeting, and yeah, people got mad at me. I became racist for reading in the way that I did. I think it was an excellent example of not being rolled on. And I think Brian Steele's example here is an excellent example of not being rolled on. And I think it's an excellent example of a criminal defense attorney actually giving a shit about his client. Not saying that most don't. Not saying that public defenders don't have a big job and they don't have other cases and they don't have time. But let's just be real and authentic here. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. Shout out to the birds. I'm in a different place and now the birds are chirping. They're like, yeah, sing it, AV, sing it. All right. So what we have is a lot of examples of what Brian Steele put in this affidavit, and the state now has to respond to all of them. So we will see at 5 p.m. if they meet the deadline. Likely they will, and they likely started this job yesterday. I think we were somewhere around line 60. I'm going to pick it up from this page. So you guys can see the type of arguments that Brian Steele had. I'm really eager for y'all to see the order that they made for Little Woody. And then we will look at Melnick's emails and call it a day. I just wanted to keep it super light here, guys, and go from there. So let's see. So this is paragraph 48. So there were 47 paragraphs that Brian Steele already included to tell us why and persuade this judge, because she's looking at this from fresh eyes. She needs to know everything. He had to give her the full background of why this judge should be recused, a judge that is her peer. And yesterday she denied 2 motions recusing herself. So she's committed, at least, to making a decision on this. Here's what we see. Judge Glanville sat silent as lawyer Hilton told Little Woody that he has spent enough time in prison for YSL. And I can tell you right here, it says, see Exhibit B, lines 46. Simone said this. I read it to y'all last week. Simone definitely said this. This extrajudicial information to Judge Glanville that marks YSL as a criminal street gang, a material elements of counts in the indictment, including count 1, RICO. This statement marks that persons supposedly associated with YSL are guilty of criminality. Do you see this, guys? This is as if Brian Steele wrote down, he read the transcript and wrote down 48 problems with it. This is number 48, and this is just an example. Right? He further goes on to say this entire illegal and unethical ex parte communication was during a critical stage of the proceedings for which Mr. Williams, as well as his counsel, had the constitutional right to be present for, based upon the United States Constitution as well as the Georgia Constitution. This Star Chamber meeting also violated Young Thug's right to be present, as well as the right to counsel, ineffective assistance of counsel, right to present a defense, right to due process, right to a fair trial, right to fair tribunal, and statutory right to a fair and ethical prosecution. All of these rights have been denied based on improper conduct of Lawyer Love, Lawyer Hilton, and Judge Glanville, all working together on the prosecution team. This paragraph is bad in a good way. It's cold. Because look at it. This is where we're going to get into legal writing. The last sentence says all of these rights have been denied based on the improper conduct of Lawyer Love, Lawyer Hilton, Judge Glanville, and all working together on the prosecution team. That's a hell of a conclusion. All 50 of these paragraphs include conclusions like that. And the beginning tells a judge what they're looking at. Remember how I told you he made a list? The first thing you're going to do is give sentence 1 the first point in that list. Judge Glanville sat silent as Lawyer Hilton told Little Woody that he has spent enough time in prison for YSL. Now, if you guys really pay attention to my content, I really paint it for you as if I was in court arguing. Last video that me and my team produced, and I'll include a card up here. I have to get used to where they are. I'll include a card after we're done with this. But the last video we produced was the top 10 most jarring things that we saw in that transcript. I wrote that down for y'all as if I was an attorney. I had other attorneys weigh in on what those top things were. But Brian Steele is telling you, no, guys, it's not just 10 things. There's 50. So when we look at these paragraphs, the first is going to be, all right, here's the next thing on the list. Here's the supporting body sentences. And here's the conclusion. The conclusion is he must be recused. I said this yesterday on lead side. The way you craft these legal arguments is looking at everything point by point by point. If a new judge who has no knowledge of this has to look at it, she's going to have to know exactly what was said. The other side's going to have to respond to each one of these paragraphs. And the judge is also going to have to weigh in on each one of these paragraphs. Do you see why we're a little bit in a stall? That's how this works. But I wanted you to see this because this is the core, this is the crux of legal writing. For every single point, we have to attack every single point, and then we have to give 3 or 4 sentences of supporting argument to show why we have the stance that we have. Number 1 is a declarative statement. The 3 or 4 paragraphs are supporting, and you notice that here they pull it from the actual exhibit. They say see page 46, line 25, 22 through 25. They have to show you where they're getting that from. You guys, some of you guys have been through college, and even if you haven't, even if it's basic high school, English writing, you have to cite your sources. You have to tell us where that's coming from. You can't just make things up in the law. You cannot just come out of nowhere. Sometimes you guys will hear me and Lee talk a little bit about case law. When lawyers put that in here, we're telling you what other cases support our position. It's not like, okay, this person did something wrong. Shout out to MG who's in here, another attorney. This is a supplement from yesterday, MG. But, it's just, I wanted to just take a moment to explain why this matters. Brian Steele is giving you 46 paragraphs. We're on paragraph 48 paragraphs of heat. All right, that's the structure of them. Next, he says, lawyer Hilton explained to little Woody that no one here expects little Woody to remember every single detail from 2015. Why is lawyer Hilton able to speak for Judge Glanville, who is present but silent? That's a good question. Is it because 1, they are either on one team, or 2, Judge Glanville has denied Mr. Williams a fair trial and violated Mr. Williams' constitutional rights stated above and therein? That's the other big thing about this, guys. Judge Glanville, remember, baseball, football, basketball. A referee's job is to be on the sidelines and call certain rules that weren't followed. You call a foul. Even if people don't agree, take it on appeal. You call a foul. But here, this is a referee who was asleep at the wheel. He didn't say anything. So logically, what can you infer from that? Are you on one side? That's what Brian said in this paragraph right here. Do you guys see how it's like he made a list? I'm telling you, he checked it twice. In this one, this is an example of, hey, you didn't say anything. Are you on their side? Because you're supposed to call it down the middle for both teams. You didn't do that. 50. Lawyer Hilton and Judge Glanville function as one cohesive engine, as shown clearly by the following. Here's an example. Mr. Copeland asks, "You can't give me house arrest?" Lawyer Hilton answers, "No, you can go home by taking the stand and testifying." That's what you, Judge Glanville, then states. "And come back tomorrow." That right there. I could read that to y'all and you would hear it and not think that anything is wrong with that. Brian Steele earlier in this document said that they lied to little Woody about what the repercussions, the outcomes, all of the possible outcomes, the true outcomes. They lied to him about what the outcomes would be to testify. Brian Steele's argument is y'all lied to him. Why? Because you want to take down Young Thug and YSL. Granted, maybe they're guilty of the crimes. Who knows? Maybe they are. But in law, there is fairness. Each side has rights. And Brian Steele's like, hey, my client's rights have been violated. Judge, out of all people, you cannot pick a side. That's not your job. You cannot favor one side or the other. You're not supposed to do it. So look at those statements. Little Woody's like, he's taking care of himself. He's just like, I don't want to be in jail. Give me house arrest. I don't want to be back in there. And Hilton says the only way you won't be back in jail, her exact words, you can go home by taking the stand and testifying, which is true if he's in contempt for perjury. It is true. But it's not the only truth. It wasn't the only option. And that's what Brian Steele was trying to say. Let's see how he argues this a little bit more. He says Judge Glanville allows lawyer Hilton to be the judge. He allows her to be the referee by telling little Woody that he cannot have time to think about whether he's going to testify or not testify, and that he cannot be sentenced to house arrest but will remain in jail. This colloquy illustrates the fact that lawyer Hilton, lawyer Levin, Judge Glanville are working together as one. Judge Glanville has forfeited the right to be judge on Mr. Williams' case as he is biased. In fact, a fair judge does not have to keep a person who refuses to testify in jail. That's right. It is judicial. Oh, that might be the most important sentence in this whole thing. Contempt is a judicial decision. Damn. They screwed little Woody here, guys. They did. There are other punishments besides same, including a fine, house arrest. It's funny that little Woody knew that, but house arrest or whatever the judge deems appropriate. What legal right did lawyer Hilton have to pronounce punishment upon little Woody? Ooh, Brian's cooking. Brian's cooking because some of these paragraphs are answered with questions. A lot of these paragraphs include questions. Why? Because it becomes more persuasive for the judge reading it to think about those questions. Brian Steele, honestly, guys, I'ma call it. Can y'all type in best criminal defense attorney in Atlanta in the chat? Can y'all do that? The way that he's outlining these paragraphs is for persuasion. And, shout out to Attorney Adams. They probably worked on this together. This is beautifully written. I haven't even read stuff like this in criminal law and criminal procedure in law school. This should be in law books for our kids and our grandkids in the future because it's very persuasive. It is. It's wonderfully written. Hopefully she doesn't deny this joint, but let's keep going. Judge Glanville fights for the prosecution by stressing to little Woody. This is bolded, the word they. They want your testimony. It is all they want, whatever that may be. Do you see how, guys, you see how that helps? Brian's persuading this judge. They. Who is they? What did you mean by that, Simone? This is a legal writing masterclass right now. I hope y'all can see it. This is brilliant. Let's go back in. Judge Glanville is an advocate for the state. Why does Judge Glanville tell a witness that the state wants his testimony and that's all they want? Why does Judge Glanville care that the state wants a witness testimony? That is not a concern of an unbiased judge. 52, lawyer Hilton explained that little Woody will not be charged with perjury, although that is outside of the order of use of immunity that was provided to the affiant by Judge Glanville. No Brady Giglio evidence was provided by Judge Glanville or lawyer Hilton. This is legally wrong. 53, lawyer Hilton and Judge Glanville misstate the law of perjury and give promises of no prosecution. They gave it to little Woody. This, again, is Giglio Brady evidence not revealed by Judge Glanville or lawyer Hilton. In fact, same was hidden from Mr. Williams until Mr. Williams insisted on receiving this transcript. That's big. Brian Steele's basically telling you guys, if I didn't say anything, we wouldn't have the transcript. Because he said the judge came in, the prosecutors came in, and they sat down and acted like that meeting just didn't happen. When you have 6 defense tables over here with 6 people that are sitting in jail and have been in jail for the last 2 or 3 years, and are we gonna act like that didn't happen? If Brian Steele if he didn't get up and say something, I'm sure some of the other attorneys would. Shout out to Weinstein, he was here. I'm sure some of the other attorneys would have said something, but Brian did not let up. Judge, no. What was that meeting about? What did y'all just talk about? Court was supposed to start at 9. It's 11:30. What are we doing here? What was that? Because from the outside, if you've done this for a really long time, like Brian has, you can tell what's going on. You can logically assume what are the possible outcomes, what are the 3 or 4 possible outcomes of what can go on. Is it a situation where there's like lawyer misconduct? What is a prosecution sitting in there with you for without the other side for almost 2 hours? Little Woody, a represented person, which I'm gonna show y'all the emails. 2 alleged attorneys, Kayla and Melnick, whatever, 2 people are suspected to represent him. This could be a represented person. Any lawyer is going to investigate that, even if you're a prosecutor. Investigate it. Just make sure he's not represented. Allegedly, they asked Woody, and he's just like, nobody represents me. That's why I want to look at the emails. But in the transcript, next day, he says, no, I never told you I was unrepresented. What you mean? Judge Glanville should have sat there and been like, okay, now that I hear that, this meeting stops. Are you represented, Woody? Referee's supposed to do that because the referee knows the rules. Supposed to know the rules. You didn't hear that. Did y'all also notice the whole time that Woody was on the stand? And I've seen so many other judges do this. The whole time little Woody was on the stand, and yes, he was being difficult in some spots, strategically, it seems like. But like the judge never checked him, like, sir, answer the question. Do y'all remember Darrell Brooks? We wouldn't move on until we got a question answered. You got to get questions answered. There was barely any refereeing when little Woody was on the stand. Now I'm going to get off my soapbox and go back and just finish this for y'all. Judge Glanville and lawyer Hilton are necessary witnesses as little Woody confessed to them I did these crimes. I'm telling you that. Coupled with the earlier statements by Little Woody about murder, which does not have a statute of limitations. That's on my top 10 list. Little Woody is telegraphing that he is responsible for the indicted offenses. This critical evidence was not given to Young Thug's side by lawyer Hilton, lawyer Love, or Judge Glanville. In fact, same was hidden. Affiant will call Judge Glanville, lawyer Hilton, and lawyer Love as witnesses because the jury needs to see and hear how Judge Glanville, lawyer Hilton, and lawyer Love cajoled perjury testimony from Little Woody. They hid Brady and Giglio evidence and worked together to wrongly convict Mr. Williams. The instruction that the judge has no interest in this case is not true. Mr. Williams will invoke his constitutional right to present a defense and call all necessary witnesses, including all three cohorts. Judge Glanville must be recused. In a separate motion, lawyer Love, lawyer Hilton must be disqualified from continuing on this case for misconduct. Now, let me scroll for a little bit. We're almost at the end. He has 64 paragraphs, and we have just finished up paragraph 54. So his argument is that Glanville, Hilton, and Love are witnesses when Little Woody said, I did these crimes. I'm telling you that. Next one, 55. Glanville is a necessary witness also because he handed an unknown document to Little Woody's attorney in Little Woody's presence. So he gave it to Kayla. Steele wants to cross-examine Judge Glanville regarding why he would give this unknown document for Little Woody. Steele wants to know what's on the document, and that's the thing. The transcript doesn't tell you what's on it. The jury needs to hear from Judge Glanville so they can determine whether Mr. Williams has been given a fair trial by a detached, impartial jurist, as claimed by Judge Glanville throughout the case. Lawyer Hilton will be called as a necessary witness because, sorry, y'all seeing my email. So sorry, my friends. Oh no, it went to my email. Sorry for that interruption. 1 minute. I think we were on paragraph 56. I had sent that document to someone, which is why I had it up. Here it is. Sorry, guys. Let me move in again. Find my place where we were. I think we were on page 46 out of 233. No, we were on the second to last page of Exhibit A. Okay, gonna share screen. Sorry, y'all. Mistakes happen. Watch people in the comments be like, you suck for making a mistake. You're not human. I don't like you. Die. They say that all the time. All right, let's keep going. So we were right around 56. Okay, lawyer Hilton will be called as a necessary witness because she, like lawyer Love, met with attorney Bumpus and Little Woody for unknown amount of time off the record. That is true. There was a statement of off the record in the transcript. Affiant will examine lawyer Hilton on the premises she made Little Woody and other witnesses in the past, as well that they are not revealed to Affiant. So what Steele is saying here is like, okay, I'm going to call them, but if there are other people, we will call them as well. Next, Judge Glanville and lawyer Hilton worked together, attempting to have Little Woody dress in civilian clothing to appear before the jury as a witness. Y'all remember we talked about that, and they were looking for a suit that fit him? Brian says, why would Judge Glanville care how the state's witness, Little Woody, appears before the jury? This is specifically true since Judge Glanville did not do the same with an earlier witness, other witnesses, specifically Mr. White, who testified in jail clothing. So, Judge, you didn't give a shit about someone else wearing a jumpsuit. Why does Little Woody have to be in a suit? Tell us. Why? Judge Glanville and lawyer Hilton speak for each other. This is paragraph 58. Lawyer Hilton answered Mr. Woody's question on whether he would be locked up for this, and lawyer Hilton responded in front of Judge Glanville, so long as you testify, we, word bolded, will get an order to get you released. Do you know how many criminal defendants are behind bars right now that would love to hear that? Judge Glanville remained dutifully silent as lawyer Hilton explained that she/we would obtain an order to have little Woody released. Judge Glanville, lawyer Hilton, and lawyer Love are one and inseparable as they violate all of the named constitutional rights of Mr. Williams in their respective oaths of office. Again, Judge Glanville and lawyer Hilton handed attorney Bumpus documents, who then gave little Woody unknown documents. And Steele will again examine lawyer Hilton and Judge Glanville on the witness stands on the contents of these documents and why they were given and the reason for putting pressure on little Woody to testify against young Doug. The jury has a right to know whether Judge Glanville has committed numerous ethical and unlawful violations. Judge Glanville must be recused. We're almost there, guys. 60. These are not only times that Judge Glanville has showed bias against Mr. Williams and his counsel. 61. Judge Glanville initially refused the release of the transcript of this ex parte hearing. Y'all remember that? That occurred in his chambers on June 10th because he claimed the same was privileged. Obviously, that statement is ridiculous. Additionally, Judge Glanville must be recused automatically since he defended his position against Mr. Williams' motion to recuse on June 17th. This honorable court, Judge Krause, must be recused. She already denied this. I'm telling you, 63 is already denied. As she sits on the Fulton County Superior Court along with Judge Glanville and has accepted a re-election campaign money from Judge Glanville, specifically receiving $2,000 in April of 24, 2-3 months ago from Judge Glanville. This occurred during Mr. Williams' trial, which commenced during January 4th of 23 and is ongoing. I swear above is true and accurate. So paragraph 63, she's already denied as of yesterday. She denied it because it's not enough. Yes, she got money from Glanville, but judges do it all the time. She did not give him money, which was promptly corrected, but the other matter of Judge Glanville coming off of this case is not yet decided. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Steele's argument, and I just showed you the end. Can y'all type in stealing on them in the chat? Let's go to some supers, and then we're going to go to a super juicy part of this, which is something y'all didn't see before. We're going to look at little Woody's contempt order, where they held him. They said, no, you are going to be forced to testify. I want to read that to y'all because it's really important in deciphering all of this. So let me see where we are in the chat. I want to come to you, Ollie. Thank you so much again for being the stream sponsor of the stream. You know, I can't tell you how much. And, you know, you can find my website, find ways to contact me. I'd love to work with you. Business side, you can contact us. I'll contact our team and we'll work on that. Shout out to Lucretia Shaw. She drops $1.99 and says, I've missed you. I missed you too, sis. I missed all of you guys. Like it's fun to be on my side solo, because usually when I'm with lead, like when there's two people talking, you have to find openings of time to like drop in and talk about things and things of the like. But it's nice to do my own thing too. Like I love hanging out with you guys and you know, for you to see like my side of the house and how I like to explain how the law works. I love it here. So I'm happy and I miss you too. Shout out to D. D has been a member for 3 months and says Brian Steele versus Oral Glanville steel cage match. I mean, this is what's happening legally. You're watching an intellectual fight. and I can't wait to see who the winner is. Shout out to Caballo Escoro, which means dark horse. He's gifted 10 AV to the 7th Power memberships. Guys, memberships has its privileges. As my team expands, usually if we're coming up with content, we will poll you guys, ask you guys questions. We tend to do that first because our membership, either you've been gifted or you're paid. Either way, you guys are investing in this channel. You're here you're here for a reason. You come to these streams for a reason, and we want to incentivize you. So many things in the works right now, events, all of that. Like, I don't want to talk about it too much, but if you're a member, it has its benefits. And if Caballo has given you guys a membership, please say thank you to him. That would be fantastic if you haven't already. Shout out to D, who's back, who says, go AV. Thank you, D. Shout out to Mars, who says, almost 40,000. We're getting slowly but surely, we're getting there. And again, like sub count, a lot of creators will tell you sub count really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There are small creators that I'm not even going to talk about it. Shout out to FFS, who has changed his name to tell AV to enunciate for fuck's sake at 199, says, you inspire me. We can agree to disagree. That's what I mean. Like, I don't mind disagreeing with people, but they're like, oh my God, you hate me. And it's just like, no, like if you disagree, it's cool. But let's just do it in a positive way. It's a positive space. That's it. So thank you, FFS. Shout out to Trainwreck Entertainment. Check out this channel, guys. If any of the mods are hanging around, love this channel. 2-person team, husband and wife effort. They do legal cases as well that are more localized, but you can learn a lot there. I'm so thrilled to be able to chat with them, help them out with their channel from time to time as well, and check them out. They've got some funny stuff over there, and there's a reason why it's called Trainwreck. If you could see what's happening on the local level, check them out. They say, you don't owe anyone anything. We love you and we are proud of you. I can't wait for my consultation. AV, you are an amazing soul. Thank you so much, Luce. I look forward to talking to you too. It's going to be great. Thank you so much, Trainwreck. And again, if any of the mods are hanging out, check them out, guys. Shout out to Army Nurse with a 5. Says, AV, pop out and show them you are. That's what I mean. Like, I do have a YouTube mentor that's on that coaches Miss Beast. All of this is strategic. I spend hours a day studying this stuff. And, I did ask them today. I was just like, man, last week I had the most successful week I've ever had. But those comments, and they were like, listen, you could be a rocket scientist. You can like legit help a rocket go to the moon, and people will still tell you you're not good enough. People will still tell you you don't know what you're doing. People will still have feedback on how to improve, and that's okay. But you have to remember you're still great. So thank you so much, Army Nurse. I popped out. I popped out with the positivity. Shout out to FFS back again with the 499. Says, fuck the haters, AV. I've learned a lot here. Love you for all you do. I'm just chiming in. This combo seems deep. I had to do it. I had to do it. Thank you so much. Shout out to Mimi, who became a new member. Welcome to the community, Mimi. Shout out to Ken with $10. Says, saw your face yesterday with TLD. TLA started on that late night paralegal rant. You look so uncomfortable. I mean, he's funny. He says some unsavory things from time to time, but I do my stuff over here, and I love working with him. Leads a riot. Colorful stuff going on there, but I balance it out a little bit. I enjoy that. So Ken, welcome. Happy you're here. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron says, AV, I have to say the live last night was amazing. Subscriber for life. Wow. See, this is what I mean, guys. These are the positive comments that like keep you going. And then Ollie, wow. Ollie, how many memberships did you leave? I think I saw, let me make sure I have this accurately depicted. Ollie did 20. Then Ollie dropped $100 super chat. Then Ollie dropped another 20, and Ollie became a member. Ollie gave you guys 40 memberships. For all the haters, look, I mean, you got positive people here. Thank you, Ollie. I needed that. Thank you. Seriously, like, thank you. And that's the thing. I'm in the process of moving from Atlanta to Boston. I'm in a spare bedroom. All my stuff is being shipped, but I still find time to stream. I'm like, all right, it looks naked back here. The law books are coming. They're coming. And this like, I'm rebranding it. We're going to call it, I'll tell you guys, we're going to call it the Law Lab. I am treating this like a full-blown business operation. Like, I'm not playing games out here. So thank you, Ollie, for being an investor in those ideas. Shout out to the Paralegal Institute of Washington, D.C. Guys, they are a channel that's been covering this YSL case too. Check them out. They've been getting a shit ton of views. They say, and I'm over here hoping to grow our channel to be more like you. Keep it up. We got your back. I got your back too. Paralegal Institute of D.C. If y'all could check them out too, that'd be fantastic. All right, guys. I'm going to move to the next document and come back to, for fuck's sake, with 499, who says, I believe if I'm going to take a guess, it's the name of his Moscow. Okay. We're going to come back to some supers, y'all, but I want to keep the content going, so we will go back to the document. Specifically, I want to show you an interesting part. Whenever these documents come out, and we did this with the Doug Weinstein affidavit, I spent a lot of time looking at a affidavit from one Lester Tate, who was one of the most revered attorneys in the state of Georgia, had walked through the halls of the Supreme Court, worked with the Supreme Court, worked on those levels of cases to the point where he was an attorney, or is an attorney, that owns, not just a partner, owns the oldest law firm in Atlanta. And so many people glossed over that. I don't like to do that over here. I really don't, because if my purpose is to really educate you guys on how the law works, I want you to see some of these things that we would look at as attorneys to get prepared for in trial. So I am bringing you guys now Exhibit F. A lot of people are not talking about this. What is Exhibit F? Well, it is an order made by Judge Glanville, and I can't highlight it, guys, because it's a copy. It's a copy that they scanned. All right. This is an order from Judge Glanville. And let me make myself small so y'all can see it big time. An order from Judge Glanville to force Little Woody to testify. The state of Georgia, having moved this court pursuant to OCGA 245507 to compel the testimony of witness Little Woody, Kenneth Copeland, and you'll love this, District Attorney Fonnie T. Willis, having determined that the testimony of Little Woody is necessary to the public interest. Let me say it again. Fonnie Willis, the district attorney in Fulton County, thought it was necessary to put Little Woody on that stand. All these channels were talking about this document yesterday. Did anyone tell you that? Fonnie Willis hand-selected Little Woody and said that his testimony is necessary. Is it? It could be. But let's go back in. And guys, I apologize if you're hearing planes. My new place is next to a landing strip or a tiny airport, and all these ratchet plane loud engines are in and out. If you're watching this on replay, we'll clean that up after the fact, but just letting you know for the live folks. The other day I was around 4th of July. I was around a place that popped a lot of fireworks. People were like, oh my God, I can't focus with all the gunshots in the background. I was like, I'm done. Anyway, Little Woody Kenneth Copeland, having been properly subpoenaed to appear before this court to testify, and the state of Georgia having provided this court sufficient reason in support of this motion to compel the testimony of Little Woody. This court finds that Little Woody has been properly subpoenaed to appear before this court to testify in the trial in the instant case, and that the testimony of Little Woody is necessary to the public interest. Accordingly, this is the original order. It is hereby ordered that witness Kenneth Copeland, Little Woody, shall appear before this court beginning Friday, June 7th at 9 a.m. to provide testimony in the trial of the above style case. Let's go back up. State of Georgia versus Jeffrey Williams et al. They ordered him, they subpoenaed him to appear and testify. Further, pursuant to OCGA, said Little Woody shall not be, look at this, it's bolded and underlined. It says, shall not be excused on the basis of the privilege against self-incrimination from testifying or producing evidence required. Let's read that again. Little Woody shall not be excused on the basis of privilege against self-incrimination from testifying or permitting any evidence required. All right. What do they say after that? However, italics, no testimony given by Little Woody as required under this order or any information directly or indirectly derived from the testimony of Little Woody given by Little Woody as required under this order shall be used against Little Woody in any proceeding or prosecution for a crime or offense concerning which he testifies. So first they say, hey, according to the law, he can't not testify based off of privilege against self-incrimination from testifying, right? That's the Fifth Amendment. But notice right here in italics, they're telling you we're giving him immunity though. Next paragraph. Little Woody shall be subject to prosecution or penalty or forfeiture for any perjury, false swearing, or contempt. So they're saying if you lie, we will charge you. However, it is ordered that Little Woody shall not be required to produce evidence that can be used in any other court of this state, the United States, or any other state. Why is that little paragraph important? Do y'all remember when I read y'all the transcript and Judge Glanville says, hey, what's important is this little paragraph right here. This is that paragraph. This is the little paragraph. This one in the middle of the screen, that's the one. So Brian's like, which document did y'all show him? It's probably this one. It is very likely this one. Right? Finally, it is ordered that said Little Woody refuse to testify after this order is entered. So if he chooses to not testify, Little Woody shall be subject to being adjudged in contempt of this court and shall be subject to commitment by this court to the Fulton County Jail until such time as said witness purges himself of contempt by testifying as ordered to do so by this court in order. So this little paragraph is also important. You want to know why? Because this is the, hey, Little Woody, we're forcing you to testify. And if you don't testify, we're going to lock you up. That's what this paragraph means. Lastly, this order shall be entered of record in the minutes of this court, and any testimony given by Little Woody pursuant to this order shall be transcribed and filed for the permanent record of the office of the Fulton County Court. clerk of Superior Court. You want to know what's crazy? This was signed on June 7th. What does this last paragraph tell you? I can't highlight it. I want to highlight it so bad. It says this order shall be entered of record in the minutes of this court, and any testimony by little Woody pursuant to this order shall be transcribed. What is the judge telling you right there? That means that all of that secret meeting should have been recorded, all of it. We have little Woody and Kayla saying that that's not all of it. We have Judge Glanville saying he wasn't going to give all of it. He wasn't going to provide all of it, that it should have been redacted. Do you guys see why I wanted to show you this? Can I get a like? I don't ask for much. Can I get a like? All right, let's go to some supers for a second. And then I'm lastly going to show you the emails between Melnick and Lawyer Love. As shout out to Bryant, Lawyer Love. Okay, let's go back to that. Shout out to FFS, who says, I believe if I'm going to take a guess, it's the name of this Moscow. We covered that. Shout out to Shady, who's become a new member. Shout out to What I Miss TV, $9.99. Thank you. Who says, I'm a little channel myself, so I definitely understand what you're, thank you for saying that. What I Miss TV. I so appreciate that. Shout out to Ken, who says, Woody is super clever. Never underestimate that man. I mean, yeah. And if you want to know what Ken and I are talking about, just go back to the lead side and check out exactly what little Woody was, there was an opportunity to interview him, but not on this case. I think that's the first time anybody on this platform has done that. He did have some older hip hop related when he was in the music industry. I think still is a few interviews related to that. I think aside from that interview, this is the first time anyone's really gotten to get to know him. So thanks, Ken. Check that out, guys, if you haven't already. Shout out to Sarita with the $5 super sticker. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. Ollie with 50 memberships. Ollie with 70 memberships. Ollie with 80 memberships. Can y'all put Ollie in the chat? Ollie, thank you. That's a ton. That is extremely generous. A lot of folks, I'm not locking anybody out. I'm not requiring that people become members over here. I'm a growing channel and I want to educate people on the law. So when you do that, 80 is insane. Thank you, Ollie. Really, thank you. I appreciate that. Shout out to Sylvia with the $2, says, definitely a law school teaching case study. It is. It should be in a book. Oh, my God. Did Ollie give another 10? Ollie gave another 10. 90 memberships, guys. That's like getting on the record close to this channel. 90 memberships is insane. I hope you guys are typing Ollie in the chat. I'm catching up over here. I hope you're typing in Ollie in the chat. Seriously. 90 memberships. Shout out to Amethyst with the 5, who says, shout out to the Socratic method of debate. Steele studied his philosophy courses for sure. We can definitely see that. Shout out to DS, who says, good morning, AV. Thank you for showing up this late into bar prep. Legal writing and analysis on point. It is, right? It is, DS. It totally is. And it's helping me for my exam later, because I'm like, man, I'm going to word this like Steele. Now I got inspiration. I'm excited. So thank you so much, DS. Shout out to, what did you say with the $5 super? Thank you so much. DS is back with another $4.99, who says, can you please put the membership option available for cell phone watchers? The button doesn't show up for me. It is a little bit of a different view if you are viewing from mobile. I think you have to shut the chat down. So you have to click off the chat and then go to the description button. I think the join button should still be there. Or if you're in the chat and if you're about to super, there should be a plus sign. It should be there. It's one of the two, DS. So it's not something creators can control. It's kind of the platform. But those are the options that I have heard might be the fix for that. So thank you so much. Shout out to Tony, who says, how long do this trial will continue, or how long will this trial continue? So Tony, we will see. We're at a pivotal week. If Brian can get Glanville recused, here's the one or two things that can happen. If he gets recused, a judge with fresh eyes is going to look at it. Does that mean they throw the whole thing away? I don't know. It's really up to the judge for the recusal part. The jury's been locked into this for a really long time. Every one of the 6 defendants on trial, they are going to want to get a dismissal, right? That's 6 defendants though. So it's very hard to project, but a lot of legal scholars are looking at the term mistrial, right? If a mistrial happens, then you could have it retried and sever some of the other defendants, or you could not have it retried. What we know that Steele is going to do for Young Thug, at least, is invoke double jeopardy. Double jeopardy is simple. You can't be tried twice for the same thing, right? So that is a good thing for Young Thug's favor, but we will see. So this week is interesting because prosecution has 1 hour and 58 minutes to produce documents and give it to the judge. She's likely already made a decision, but could take tomorrow to continue to make her decision. So we should see some news on this tomorrow or Friday. All right. So I hope that answers the question, Tony, and thank you so much for the super. Shout out to Doorman with the $2. Says, I love the way you break it all down. You're great. I love it. I mean, I love it too. Like, I love explaining it because it's like, from a younger person's standpoint or somebody that's recently went to law school, like, I'm like, y'all, like, I did not know about how a lot of this stuff worked 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 years ago. I had to really learn with the loss of, like, I really enjoy my YouTube experience because I feel like I could connect with y'all a little bit closer in time. And like a lot of attorneys that have been doing this for so long, they'll explain it to you and they'll use words and you're like, what the hell does that mean? I mean, what is that? What does that word mean? I just explain it the way I would explain it to a 3-year-old. I'm not comparing y'all to 3-year-olds, but I'm just saying you have to make it simple. Right. Shout out to C. Rob, the GOAT, who says, great show, AV. Your growth is amazing. Keep up the hard work. I appreciate that, C. Thank you so much. Shout out to J Kids with the $3 super sticker. Shout out to Karen with the $10. Says, let the haters be your motivator. Girl, they will. They have no idea. None. Thank you so much. Shout out to Annette with the $2. Says, you're the top, AV. Thank you. Ollie hit 100 memberships, guys. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that was going to happen? Because we're always so far behind in super chats. Like, I'm about 10 minutes behind. Ollie hit y'all with 100. If y'all don't hit Ollie in the chat. All right, Ollie, I have to go back in. We're going to go. And Michelle, I'm so sorry if I missed something. She says, lead, miss. I thought you said I missed your super chat. She said, lead, miss my super chat. Could Judge G and the 2 prosecutors be in legal trouble over their Shanghais? You're amazing and love your content. I love you too, Michelle. And I'm going to bring Ollie up while we talk about this because he was been super, super generous. But as I answer your question, Michelle, yes, they can be in legal trouble. Yes, Brian Steele wants them disbarred. Yes, Brian Steele wants all 3 of these folks to be recused from this case. Yes, Brian Steele wants other people from the district attorney's office to be reassigned to the case. New prosecutors, take Love and Hilton out of it, take Glanville out of it. New people. Brian's, yes. Yes. I hope that answers the question. Shout out to Audrey, who says, AV, forget the haters and keep moving forward. I will. Shout out to Shaquanta. Welcome, sis. She became a new member. And then Slick So Famous TV gave out 10 memberships. Man, our squad is just growing. It's just growing. Thank you. So Slick. Famous TV. You're joining Ali and a few others that have given memberships. And again, I think I did it the other day. I made my video, one of my videos, open to members first before we put it out. We got to put out another one tonight. I will poll you guys first before we even get into the editing and creation process. My memberships, y'all are shareholders. You're going to be treated as such, even if you're gifted a membership. So thank you, Slick So Famous TV, for gifting memberships. Shout out to Brownie, who's in here, and then shout out to Nicole. All right, y'all, you ready to see some emails? We're gonna look at some emails. I was so excited looking at these yesterday. So these are emails, right? And these emails, let me present the right tab, share screen. These emails are, 230 pages. I parsed through them for you, and I believe this is on page 230. Boom. Exhibit I. No one else is talking about this. All right. We have an email as early as the 10th at 5:23 p.m. This email came from Max Sharp. He is representing one of the defendants. The subject is Kenneth Copeland, forwarded. All right. It is to Courtney Edwards, who works at Brian Steele's law firm. So she's an employee at the law firm. So this is as of 7:23. What I like to do, guys, because I'm a nerd, is whenever you see things that are printed out and scanned, you look at the timestamp up top over here on the right-hand corner. So as Brian Steele's team was getting ready to file this joint at 8:30 p.m., 7:45, approximately 45 minutes later, someone from the office printed out this email chain. And it's a forwarding. So Max sent this to Brian Steele. This is the email chain at issue for a lot of people. Here we go. Comes from John Melnick. Thursday, June 6th, the day before Little Woody went to court. 5:48 p.m., typical after hours. John Melnick sends this to Adrian Love, sends this to the Steele law firm, meaning everyone at the law firm, sends it to Max Shard and Simone Hilton. He CCs Antonio Long, who also works for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. So this only went to Shard and it only went to Steele. It did not go to any of the other criminal defense attorneys. So let me make that clear. All right. The day before Little Woody was going to testify, he says, I have been Little Woody's attorney. He tells me that he repeatedly told you that when you were questioning him, I also spoke with Don Geary extensively about Little Woody when he was assigned to the case. And I spoke with Miss Love early in the process, around the time the jury selection was beginning. I have a plea with Judge Carnicel tomorrow at 9, and I will come in the afternoon as soon as I'm done. What is this email saying? Melnick, tell Simone and Miss Love, I am Little Woody's attorney. He tells me that he repeatedly told you that when you were questioning him. So Simone and Adrian, Little Woody told me that he told you that I was his lawyer repeatedly, right? I also talked to Don Geary about Mr. Copeland when he was assigned to this case. I wonder if Geary was a different prosecutor. And he also says, I spoke with Miss Love. So now Melnick is like, Adrian, Miss Love, I spoke with you early in the process. So you should have known that he was represented. Then he says, Melnick says, I have something to do in the morning. I have a plea to go, I have to be in court on another matter with another judge at 9 a.m. It's likely in the same courthouse. And he says, I will come to the courtroom as soon as I'm done. He goes, as a lawyer, I have to be over here. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to come to the courtroom. At 5:48, Melnick is saying Little Woody is represented. The fact that they still went in front of Judge Glanville after, this is the notification that he was represented. Now let's go down the email chain, because this is important too. Thursday, 4:57, this email comes from Simone Hilton. And this, we're going back in time, guys. It says, good afternoon. I hope all is well. In our conversations with Little Woody, he advised that you were not his attorney and he had not spoken to you. However, if you were asserting that he is his attorney, we will cease communication, but your client is under subpoena and is expected to be here at 8:30 a.m. It is our understanding that your client does not have transportation, so we will be planning to pick him up. So please make sure that he is present so we do not have to take further action if he fails to appear for his subpoena. Thank you and have a great evening. Simone wrote that at 4:57. Melnick responds at 5:48. An hour and 1 minute later, he is telling her, I am his attorney. He is represented. He tells me that he repeatedly told you that when you were questioning him. Oh, let's go to the very bottom email. How did this start? This email started, and we're going back in time. We're going at 4:31, and Simone responded at 4:57. So the original email that kicked all this off, look, it's Melnick at 4:30. He sends it to Love, to Hilton, to Steele, to Max. Good afternoon, all. It has come to my attention that the Fulton County's District Attorney's Office has questioned my client, Kenneth Copeland, Little Woody, without my knowledge or consent. Please be advised that my client does not wish to speak with any member of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office nor any law enforcement officer from this point forward. My client will assert his privilege under the Fifth Amendment tomorrow and will not testify. Melnick said this to them at 4:31. She responds at 4:57 and says, in our conversations, he said that you were not his lawyer and hadn't spoken to you. If you are asserting that that you are his attorney, we will cease. She's saying we'll stop. But he's under subpoena and is expected to be here at 8:30. That sentence right there is a problem. Because now we know that he's represented. You've been notified at 4:30, and the root of the sentence is, he told us you were not his lawyer and hadn't spoken to you. Fine. However, if you are asserting that you are his attorney, we'll stop talking to him right now. But even though we'll stop talking to him, your client still needs to show up in court tomorrow. It's our understanding that your client does not have, and look at that. He still needs to be here tomorrow. We don't know how he's going to get here, so we're planning to pick him up. Please make sure that he is present so we don't have to take any further action if he doesn't come in. Simone is basically threatening him. Simone is throw the whole, I need to go. Throw the whole case away. You're questioning my client without consent. Stop right there. Oh my God. All right, let's go back in. You're questioning my client without consent. Okay, he still needs to be here at 8:30 tomorrow. Make sure that he gets transportation. Melnick says, I've been his lawyer. He tells me that he repeatedly told you that. And now I understand why Melnick's like, I've talked to others about Don Geary. I need to look up who that is, guys. When he was assigned to this case, and I spoke with Attorney Love early in the process. I'm in court tomorrow, and I'll come to the courtroom when I'm done. Now, I'm going to scroll down. That's all of this that Brian Steele included. Now, why is that important? Remember, Brian and Sharp were CC'd on this. Oh my God. I mean, that's it. I wanted to talk about these emails with y'all because, like, you know, the new motion came out. We're like, oh my God, we need to talk about this. And I'm sitting here, I know all this. I've read through the 233 pages yesterday. And I was just like, what you mean? So, like, it is clear that we have some witness coercion. And it is clear, even if the day before somebody shows up and they're under subpoena, in the morning, we need to do what we can to correct the problem or correct the misconception. If you didn't know he was misrepresented like you said you did, then we need to work together to clear the subpoena while Melnick was there, before Kayla had to stand in. Why didn't y'all just fix it Friday? He told you Little Woody was going to plead the fifth. And now that I have a better understanding of the transcript, Little Woody said, I told you I was going to plead the fifth. I told you every day I was going to plead the fifth. I'll be honest, guys, I actually believe him. This is so bad. Oh my God. Shout out to Brownie, who became a member. Shout out to Nicole. Nicole, welcome to the debauchery. Did you see that? Shout out to Confused Conservative. I'm confused too. Conservative. Welcome. I'm confused too. Shout out to Ollie, who says, let's support each other and grow together. Listen, I'm all about galvanizing. Ollie drops $50 and he is y'all's stream sponsor. This is the debauchery that Ollie is sponsoring. I couldn't wait to show this to you because I think it changes the game. So where are we in the case? We're waiting for the DA's office to file their responses by the end of the day today, okay? After we do that, we're going to wait for this judge to make her decision. She could do it tomorrow. She could do it Friday, okay? So we're waiting on that. If Glanville comes off, it's just going to be assigned to someone else, and we're going to continue. Once we continue, what happens? Are we going to make Little Woody continue to testify? It's likely yes. But what was happening before we did that? Well, Little Woody didn't want to testify. To the point in this transcript where Melnick said, if you guys make him testify, where's that email? Where Melnick was like, fuck you. Like, where's that email? Like, don't put this man on the stand because you're putting him in danger. Where's that email? I want to see it. I want to see it. Let me come to y'all in the chat before we end. I mean, this case is the case that keeps on giving. But like, what do you do with this when you see a justice system that performs like this? Christy says, wow, girl. Betty's like, so crazy. Tiff, you guys are in disbelief. This is crazy. What were they thinking? Dark says, I really think it will be a mistrial. Capture says, wow. Pedro says, Krause did not care about. Pedro. Larry says, the law is not playing out here. Too many young rappers going to jail and getting shot. And that's the other thing. I dropped a video. Not a lot of people watched it, but we dropped a video kind of recapping everything of last week. And one of the things that took place, and that's why I do get concerned about people involved in the case speaking about it. because there was a gentleman that was close to little Woody Tay. He died in Atlanta like last weekend. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? It was the weekend before. And I was down there at the time. I wanted to go to the courthouse, meet everybody, meet the attorneys, all that stuff. I wanted to be there that Monday. I was in town doing some other stuff with family and friends, but like I was going to go to the courthouse. And I just remember seeing that news, like, we got to be careful with social media. We really do. This is dangerous, you know, because these are gangs. Like the Bloods are involved, you know. It's really sad to hear about Tay. Little Woody was posting that. So this is a dangerous thing. It really is. Shout out to Teresa who says, hey, AB and Chad. Robin says, told you Fani wants all of the Jeffrey Williams assets. She may. I explained this already, 410. What happens if the prosecutor causes a mistrial? Well, we learned in the Fulton County DA's office that if you lose a case, there's something called the walk of shame. I don't know if they still do this, but this was under Paul Howard's administration. But you got to take the walk of shame around the office. I lost a case. Shenanigans. Larry says, is she Spanish? No, I'm Cape Verdean. I'm West African and Portuguese, but because I'm light skinned, everybody's like, you're white. I hate you. It happens. Shout out to Reese. That's really the point. He said at least 3 times he was pleading. That Reese, he did. I believe him. Like, he's like, I said at least 3 times he was pleading. His lawyer said it. His lawyer told them. So Brian Steele is not lying when he's just like, what are you doing? Are you on the prosecution side? He's saying in front of all of you guys that he was about to plead the 5th. You guys knew he was going to plead the 5th. What other evidence do you need? That email chain right there, guys, that exhibit that I just showed you is damning. That shows that the night before the prosecution team knew. Why do you think Brian placed that at the very end of this? For this judge to see. Strategic sequence. I'm going to make my argument. And then after I make my argument, I want you to see the most damning piece of evidence last. They knew. Emails can't be doctored. IP addresses won't lie. We can pull those. That prosecution team absolutely knew that little Woody was going to plead the 5th the day before he did it. There's one thing you take out of this live stream. King Coley says, Woody, I told them whatever they wanted to hear so I could get out of these handcuffs. Yes, he did. Oh, man, guys. I just want you to see how the justice system really works. Is it always right? No. Shout out to Edwin with the $2. Says, Uncle Phil blew it. Aunt Viv was right. I mean, Edwin, you guys let me know. I showed it to you. You let me know what you think. It's a smoking gun, in my opinion. Question everything with the $2 says, one day you'll actually make it to the courthouse. It's why? I'm so corrupt. You want me to be in there, but at the same time, like, I just look at things for our people and I'm like, we need real people in there. Who's going to protect criminal defendants, or not even that? Because this is an instance of corrupt prosecutors and a judge working in concert. It could be the opposite. It could be a judge working with defense attorneys. Where is the fairness? Shout out to Miss AB with the $5. Who says the DA wanted Woody's testimony on the stand or via the video interviews. Yes. And Miss AB, they wanted by any means necessary. This is why Brian is standing on a box in court like, hello, smoke signals, all of it. He's just like, hello, is anybody gonna stop this? To the point where he's even cited, he's just like, in America, this should not happen. Not in any states in America, this should happen. And I'm happy he's saying it. Luckily, he's a great criminal defense attorney. But a lot of criminal defense attorneys might roll over with something like this and just let it go down. Why? This is terrible. Shout out to Michelle with $2 who says, thank you, AV. They did him ugly. What you mean? And honestly, like at first, like this what you mean thing, you know, like I think like a lot of us with the sensationalized trial, we were like, okay, you know, like why is like, because if you think about it now it makes sense why Woody was on the stand saying what he was saying, acting the way that he was acting. Now it makes sense. But in the moment, I think a lot of people were like, oh my God, this is funny. Yeah, it was funny. But like now that you read and see what was really going down, is it funny? I recant some of my laughs, like I do. I really do. Because like now that I knew what what actually happened to this man, it's crazy. Shout out to Drew Beats who says, am I wrong to want Thug to go free because his next album would be fire? Don't forget Cash Apps. Yes. Okay. Let me come. Thank you, Drew Beats. Coming to Cash Apps, guys. Let me read those because I have not read them. I actually need to get ready for this class soon, so I'm gonna pop out of here in a second. Shout out to Beth who sends me. Beth sends me $10. Says I need my first wife. I need my YSL. Give me my YSL pics. Oh my God, that's so bad. I'm not making fun of drug people. Like, you know, let me not even say anything because haters get so angry whenever I say anything. Shout out to Drew Beats with the $5. This says, pray for me, AV, my AC. Oh! Guys, can y'all put prayer emojis in the chat? Drew Beats lives in Vegas and his AC just went out. We're sending you all the cool air from the north and from the south and from the west coast and from the Pacific Northwest. It's hot in the entire US, but man, Drew Beats. Okay, and then he sends me $4 and says, check out The Bachelorette Divorce. She is a lawyer. Yeah, I will. Okay, let me get a few more, guys, but then I really need to study before this test in like 2 hours. Shout out to the Professional Nomad podcast who says, is it funny or is it Fanny? Funny. Is it? What do y'all think? Shout out to Clay Like Scars with the $4.99 who says the prosecution and the judge dirty as F. Free King Slime. Everyone deserves a fair trial. Everyone does. I like this. And this is a perfect way to end. Guys, this is going to be a quick power hour. It ended up being an hour and 47 minutes. I hope you really got some value in really parsing through these documents the way that I do. And the most valuable piece of evidence that we saw was those emails. They knew. They had notice within 24 hours. Yeah, a little bit slightly under, but they knew what little Woody was going to do the day that he did it. They knew that he was represented the way, you know, before he went to the courthouse on Friday. They knew. They didn't do anything. Again, you guys know that this episode has been sponsored by Aura. Check them out. If you're interested in a law school consultation and in a YouTube consultation, now that we know your girl is qualified with under 100K, I advise a lot of big channels and I learn from the best, I learn from lead. So if you're thinking about taking that step, super happy customers I've worked with all week. I'd love to do it. And I'd love to help you guys on your journey if you're interested. All of that will be in the description box after this email. We're also going to chop up this video. So if you want to replay some things, we will chop them up nice and neatly so you can go to the sections of the documents and find what you're looking for. Anywho, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. See you in the next one. Bye.